I don't want to alarm anyone, but Kyle Dubas said words. Leafs general manager and wearer of glasses Kyle Dubas was on Primetime Sports with Bob McCown. The whole interview is up on Sportsnet.ca right now and the Sportsnet YouTube channel. It's about 31 minutes long. That's a few words. And there's a lot of dancing, non-answers and stuff, but it's Bob. I listened to the whole thing. Here are some of the things that I found notable. Let's start with Sparks versus McElhinney because Sparks' performance against Montreal the other night is fresh on everyone's mind. Dubas sort of echoed what Justin Bourne actually said on Sportsnet 590 The Fan earlier in the day. It's not about preseason games. You shouldn't be judging guys just off that. In Dubas' words, it's about the body of work. And we know that's how he thinks. He said things like that before, but it's an interesting statement if you want to try to pull things out of it. Because what is Sparks' body of work? He's got a Calder Cup. He was the American Hockey League Goalie of the Year last year. You cannot step to his AHL body of work. But has he proven himself on an NHL stage yet? No. But really, what's the body of work there? 3 years ago when he was a rookie on the Leafs, who were the league's worst team, and he was injured, and preseason games. McElhinney's body of work is playing in the NHL for over a decade and not being that great of a backup versus the past 2 years and this preseason where he's been absolutely bananas. And he's an interesting case because do you want to take in too much of his body of work? Like, to me, shouldn't only the last 5 years or so matter? I don't know if it's fair to look at a 35-year-old professional athlete and go, yes, but when they were 27, you gotta take some of it in, but at some point there's gotta be a cutoff. Like that was then, this is now. But of course, that's all my opinion, not Dubas. What Dubas did say is a suggestion I've heard from some, should the Leafs just carry both guys? And he explained why, no, that's not the greatest idea. What I did find interesting is Calvin Pickard wasn't really brought up. And it's funny because in the preseason I've seen Pickard backing up Freddie Anderson and I'm going, I think this guy might actually be the backup. Even though he was the Marlies backup last year, technically the Leafs' fourth goalie, he actually has a lot more NHL experience than Sparks. And at about the same age, is he the guy you bet on instead? I'm interested to see what happens here because Dubas said he doesn't want to carry 3 guys, but what are you going to do? Chris Johnston actually has an interesting article on Sportsnet.ca of an idea of something the Leafs could do with the CBA. Also interesting, Richard Deitch, who is obviously also in the room for this interview, asked about roster composition because there's been some talk of, yeah, Dubas is the GM, but he's not going to be able to rein in Babs. And Dubas seemed to make it very clear it's his decision. So to me, McElhinney is clearly the better goalie right now, or at least he has been recently, but you also have an AHL goalie of the year who's a decade younger. And I would be very surprised to see Kyle Dubas' Toronto Maple Leafs not transition to Sparks or even Pickard instead of Mac. And based off what he said, I think that even more. Then, as Bob said, burying the lead, Willie. Did you know that William Nylander's not signed? He's not. Dubas emphasized that both sides, both the Leafs and William Nylander's camp, want a long-term deal. If you're a Leafs fan, I guess that's good because it starts on the ground of they both want the same thing. And there's been a lot of talk of a bridge deal. Oh, just, get it done. Oh, do what Sam Reinhart did, get a 2-year deal. Well, Dubas said that is suboptimal. And now that he's actually said it out loud, I get the impression he's not going to do that at all because you don't want to do something that you've publicly said is suboptimal, do you? He's already backed himself into a corner by saying we can and we will with regards to re-signing all 3 of Willie, Austin, and Mitch. Makes you wonder exactly how far apart they are and how stubborn either side is being. Dubas also mentioned that if Nylander is not signed by December 1st, that he's ineligible to play, which I didn't even know. Like, he can't even play this season. But I don't think we're gonna get there, are we? And Dubas also said that he wouldn't be doing his job if he wasn't taking calls on Nylander, but he is certainly not shopping him. Which, if you're bored and desperate for something to cling on to because it's the preseason, you're gonna go, oh. But that's just, the truth. He wouldn't be doing his job if he wasn't answering his phone. Like, here, watch this. Hi, this is Kyle Dubas. Hi, this is Mark Bergevin. How can I help you? Nylander for Antti Niemi. Hey, have a good day. Click. He still has a flip phone. Now, what happened there? Kyle accepted a call requesting a trade for William Nylander and also rejected it, hung up, did his job. So even though Dubas as the GM of the Leafs can't say too much, there was still plenty of meat on the bone in this interview. And he talked about a lot more guys who are battling for a roster spot, the Leafs defense, hiring Haley Wickenheiser. And if you want to watch the whole thing, like I said, it's on Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet YouTube channel. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Kyle, Willie, someone, sign the thing. I'm sick of talking about it.